It's time for In the Loop, everybody. Welcome in. I'm Annie Yu. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll get you all caught up on some of the biggest stories this week. Let's get you in the loop, and we're starting with our big story this week. The FBI says they've arrested the man who placed 2 pipe bombs in D.C. the day before the January 6 riots. The suspect's name is Brian Cole Jr., and he is from Prince William County. Rafael Sanchez-Cruz has more on the suspect and what led to his arrest.
Yeah, tonight, officials say it wasn't new evidence or a new witness that came forward that led to the arrest of Brian Cole of Prince William County. It was simply due diligence. The FBI says that under the Trump administration, they brought in an entire new team of experts to sift through 3 million lines of evidence. Officials held back on providing more information about the investigation. They're calling it ongoing and active. However, court documents obtained by WUSA 9 are providing some insight into this case. Using the surveillance video released by the FBI, investigators say they determined the suspect was around 5 feet 7 inches. Cole is 5 feet 6 inches. Now, court documents say the 30-year-old also uses corrective glasses like the suspect seen on surveillance video. Investigators say that on January 5th of 2021, the night the pipe bombs were placed near the RNC and the DNC headquarters, Cole's cell phone pinged in that area. They also say Cole's car was observed driving past license plate readers near that area. Investigators say Cole's credit card transactions show he purchased materials used in the construction of pipe bombs. Court documents say those purchases started in 2019 and continued through 2020. They also allege Cole continued purchasing these materials after the discovery of the pipe bombs. DC's U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro gave us a glimpse into the investigation.
For example, there were 233,000 black end caps of the type that were used in this case. I want you to think about the fact that the FBI had to go through the sale of every one of them to try to find commonality with an individual, along with the purchase of the pipe itself, the cap ends, the wires, the steel, and the 9-volt batteries. Every one of those had to be mined and remined to the point where we were able to then connect.
Yeah, Pirro says that for now, Cole is facing charges for the use of an explosive device and attempted malicious destruction by means of an explosive. She also said he could be facing additional charges. However, tonight, we still don't have a motive, and officials held back on telling us if this could be related to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. In the district, I'm Rafael Sanchez-Cruz.
Rafael, thanks. Let's get to an update now on the suspect in the deadly shooting at MGM National Harbor. Prince George's County Police say 22-year-old Benjamin Williams is now in custody. They say Williams shot and killed 23-year-old Darnell Hawkins inside the casino's food court on Wednesday. Sarah Robinson walks us through the charges Williams is now facing and how police caught him.
Investigators say they believe this was a targeted attack, and because it was targeted, they say the MGM is still safe for the public. But right now, the motive is still in question.
One life lost is too many. And so today we mourn the death of a young 23-year-old who had his full life ahead of him.
Wednesday afternoon, a shooting inside the MGM National Harbor food court left Darnell Hawkins Jr. dead and sent people running for cover.
This was, we believe, a targeted attack, and that there is no general safety issues at MGM. MGM is a safe place to go.
Police identified the suspect as Benjamin Williams of Fort Washington. They say he appeared to wait for the right moment to fire.
What played a vital role in solving this case was the caliber of video at MGM.
Police say Williams drove off after the shooting, but was arrested 14 hours later at a residence near College Park. Police also say he does have a criminal history.
The motive in this case, we're still looking into.
At a town hall Wednesday night, some residents questioned safety around the casino complex. Police Chief George Nadar says crime in the MGM area is down. He also said there are metal detectors at the casino entrance, but not in the surrounding retail areas.
It's a shopping mall. You don't get checked for weapons when you go into a shopping mall.
Now, Williams is behind bars tonight, facing both first and second degree murder charges. Reporting in Prince George's County, I'm Sarah Robinson, WUSA 9.
Turning now to the impacts of the deadly National Guard attack. First, 500 more Guardsmen are now patrolling D.C., bringing the total count close to 3,000. Another change, all troops are now armed. The suspect in the attack, Afghanistan native Ramanullah Lakhanwal, faces 4 charges, including first-degree murder. He has pleaded not guilty, but prosecutors say he planned this crime and drove to D.C. from Washington State. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey honored the victims by dedicating their Capitol Christmas tree to Andrew Wolf and Sarah Beckstrom. And we're told that Andrew Wolf is showing positive signs of recovery, some good news. Meanwhile, we are still waiting to hear funeral plans for Sarah Beckstrom. She passed away shortly after the attack. Now, this attack has been on the minds of many people, including the local Afghan immigrant community. And our Matt Gregory explains why their path to citizenship has also been impacted since the Trump administration is pausing immigration applications from 19 countries, including Afghanistan.
Afghan immigrants will tell you this has been a difficult year, but the tragedy a week ago has added to it as they worry their dreams of citizenship and safety in the U.S. could be threatened by the alleged actions of one man. More than 20 years ago, Jawed Kotwal arrived in the United States from his home in Afghanistan.
Just 4 weeks before September 11 happened. Very hectic times, anxious times.
In 20 years, he started a family, got citizenship, and moved to Northern Virginia. But this week, those feelings from 24 years ago returned.
There's fear in certain segments of society, in particular those who are not U.S. citizens yet.
The day before Thanksgiving, police say 29-year-old Afghan national Ramanullah Lakhanwal shot 2 West Virginia National Guardsmen patrolling D.C., killing Sarah Beckstrom and critically wounding Andrew Wolf.
We were worried. We got scared because anytime we are in the headlines, that's not good.
Since then, we've learned Lakhanwal came to the U.S. in 2021 seeking asylum. He'd worked alongside U.S. forces in the war in Afghanistan, and this year, he became one of the thousands of cases of asylum granted because of the dangerous nature of their work with the U.S. if they stayed in their homelands.
For the last 20 years, we sacrificed our lives, our livelihoods to defend, the values that we hold dear, to serve along with the U.S. men and women in uniform.
In response to the shooting, the Trump administration this week cracked down on Afghan immigrants, pausing immigration processing. Now, as a leader of the Afghan community in the DMV, Kotwal says he's been getting calls about people fearing for their future and their safety.
There have been green card interviews that are canceled, and they're given an absurd reason for cancellation. There were a few naturalization ceremonies for new U.S. citizens that were descheduled. They were told not to come.
Yet this weekend, Kotwal says they wanted to focus on the victims of the shooting.
We had a vigil in front of the White House Sunday evening where dozens of African Americans showed up and paid respect to Sarah.
Kotwal says he and the community will weather this storm, just like they did after 9/11. But he wants people to know that one person's actions do not represent an entire community.
We, as a community, as an Afghan American community, hold all the American values dear. 99.9% of our community is peaceful, law-abiding citizens that work in every field in the society here.
In Northern Virginia, Matt Gregory, WUSA 9.
Meanwhile, President Trump is proposing giving Dulles International Airport a big makeover. On Tuesday during his cabinet meeting, he called the airport, quote, terrible, and said it was designed poorly. Jacqueline Quinn is at the airport with what this proposed overhaul could look like.
So a lot of people are asking, well, what could happen to this area of the airport? You see the architecture here. A lot of people talk about that, the sweeping roof, the signage, all of this from the 60s. It was built in the 1962. But the president commented about this during a cabinet meeting yesterday, and this morning the reaction is really pouring in from social media, but this was the statement that he made.
We're also going to rebuild Dulles Airport because it's not a good airport. It should be a great airport, and it's not a good airport at all. It's a terrible airport.
Now, the one thing the president didn't criticize about our region's busiest airport was the terminal, which he said was beautiful and designed by one of the greatest architects of his time. And just hours after the president's comments, U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy put out an invite for proposals on how to revitalize Dulles. And social media had quite a lot to say, many weighing in on the infamous people movers with comments like, "What's wrong with Dulles?" Everyone loves completing the half marathon from ticketing to gate, and the early 60s mobile lounges so comfortable. Another post saying, "Don't make it like EWR, that's Newark. Please, if we redo it, make it like Singapore or Dubai. Think big." Another agreeing with the president and asking about the terminal to remain unchanged, though. Please don't alter Aero Saarinen's swooping design. It's so elegant. Functionality would be much appreciated, though. Those feelings were echoed by travelers that we spoke with here at Dulles.
It's easy to get to for me because I live next to the metro. But I honestly have never had any issues with the airport.
It's a beautiful airport, but it's definitely an old airport built for a city that was a lot smaller at the time it was built.
Now, there are questions on social media. What's going to happen to the people movers? Well, the plan for that is to be phased out. As you know, there is a concourse being built, Concourse E. The Aero train is expected to connect all of the concourses together. That's why they're phasing out the people mover. For now, I'll send it back to you.
And speaking of our airports, the FAA is investigating if some of our major airlines violated flight limits set during the government shutdown. Those limits were set to ease pressures on unpaid workers and help keep everyone safe. The FAA says carriers who ignore the restrictions will face fines up to $75,000 per flight. Another shakeup could happen with SNAP benefits. The Trump administration says it will withhold SNAP funds from Democratic-led states that refuse to provide information on who's receiving benefits. That includes names and immigration status. The administration says it aims to reduce fraud, and Maryland is one of those states suing to block that requirement. Well, relief is on the way to some residents in Wheaton, Maryland. About 1,000 people living at the Arrive apartments are now back in their homes, and they were forced out of their apartments, you may remember, on Wednesday night after a pipe broke and flooded their electrical room. Here's some video for you. Lionel Donovan spoke to one resident there who says this is just the latest issue at her apartment complex.
This is a sign that was given to me by one of the tenants inside Arrive Wheaton apartments. He says that it was duct taped on all of the front doors in the apartments. Now, the sign says that the premises are condemned and that these apartments are unfit for human habitation. Now, county officials are saying that the goal is to get water and power turned back on before nightfall. However, folks living here are telling me that this is just the latest in a long line of problems, and now they're wondering what will be done to make things right. Cassandra Jackson says she moved into Arrive Wheaton in February and has experienced problems ever since.
If it's not one thing, it's something else. If it's not people breaking into our cars, it's people stealing our packages, it's problems with mold, it's problems with the property managers, everybody.
Now she's wondering how to deal with the latest problem at the apartment complex. On Wednesday afternoon, hundreds of residents learned their power and water was shut off due to a burst water pipe. Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Services crews arrived to find around 300,000 gallons of water in a sub-basement from the broken pipe.
We believe that was caused by a sprinkler head leak in an adjacent building that sort of ran down into the lower levels of that building. And what it did is force us to cut the building to cut power and water to the residents last night.
Which left folks like Cassandra with little time to figure out how to respond.
Puts people in crazy predicaments, and then we're already spending so much to live here, and then we can't even go to work to make up for the money that we're, so.
I reached out to the company that manages the property, Redtail Residential, for a comment on what happened. The building manager gave me a number to call, and when I did, no one answered. County leaders, however, tell me this isn't the first time they've heard of issues coming from these buildings.
I do look forward to getting a report on what really happened in this particular instance. With that said, that property owner on Arrive has had a history of not being the best
Now, Earl Stoddard, the assistant chief administrator for the county, has said that at least 10 housing inspectors have been walking throughout the building for the entire day talking to residents. He went on to encourage residents to reach out to inspectors and let them know about any issues they may have in these apartment buildings, because those complaints could spur even more inspections. From Montgomery County, Lionel Donovan, WUSA 9.
Well, switching gears here, let's highlight a DC business that's working with almost 20 restaurants in our area to help protect our planet. To Go Green is a service that allows you to order takeout and then return reusable takeout containers to any of their restaurant partners. And our Caitlin McGrath spoke to the business's co-founders and a student at Georgetown University who's also promoting this service on her campus about the impact that they are making. Here's a portion of their conversation.
We all love the convenience of ordering takeout food, but the reality is that it can produce a lot of waste. Now, thankfully, there is a local company helping to combat that challenge, To Go Green, and I'm joined now by their founders, Harrison and Kevin Kay, also a student from Georgetown University, helping make this project such a success, Reese Oaks. So to start, let's start with you, Kevin, and talk about what To Go Green is, how you guys founded this company.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us, Caitlin. So during the pandemic, Kevin and I lived together. We ordered in a lot. I was finishing up high school virtually, and Kevin was completing a DC Superior Court clerkship. So we were very busy and liked the convenience of ordering in. But you know, one day Kevin noticed that it's a lot of waste and it's unnecessary. So we started workshopping a solution. We thought about different solutions to packaging waste, such as the milkman model, where you would receive your bottles of milk in a wired basket, you would leave the bottles at your door in the basket, and someone would pick them up, clean them, and you would get them back. So that's effectively what To Go Green has become. It's a reusable, returnable packaging system that allows you to enjoy takeout and delivery without all the waste.
Amazing. And talk to me about the logistics of how this actually works.
Absolutely. So as we like to say, going green is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, you visit our website, togogreen.eco, and order pickup or delivery from one of our restaurant partners. Step 2, the restaurant will package your entire order in our reusable containers, and you take it home and enjoy as usual. And then step 3, finally, you have 3 weeks to return your containers to any of our restaurant partners for cleaning and reuse. You can either schedule an at-home container pickup, or you can drop off the containers in person to one of the restaurants.
Talk to me about the plans to help To Go Green grow.
Yeah, so right now we've been working with their pitch deck and a lot of valuation, as well as some growth strategies, especially in the DMV area. And then we've also helped redesign their new logo, working on certain color schemes or maybe fonts. We're working on the website, so we have a new integration with another larger company, and so our tech team and along with our creative team is working on redesigning our website and how that integration is really going to function. So we touch on a lot of different subjects, but it ends up working out very well and coming together in the end.
The DC Library and Washington Wizards are teaming up to launch a winter reading challenge. Coming up, how your kids can enter and the cool prizes they can win. We'll be right back. Turning now to some holiday stories that might get you in the mood. Okay, Metro's holiday pop-up store is now open, and check this out. Yeah, they've got all things Metro there. You can see they're selling ornaments, Metro-themed Christmas sweaters. They even have stocking stuffers like plushies. I mean, they have thought of everything. The shop is located on the first floor of the MLK Jr. Memorial Library, right near the Gallery Place Chinatown Metro stop. The shop will remain open until December 20th in case you need, those last-minute creative gifts. Staying in the district, DC's Public Library is getting ready to kick off their winter reading challenge, and they've partnered with the Wizards, the Washington Wizards, to offer some epic prizes. Okay, so it includes free game tickets, basketball hoops, even custom jerseys. I mean, those are some really great prizes. The challenge is open to anyone under the age of 19, and to enter, your kids must pick up a winter challenge game board from the library, read for 30 days, and then complete 3 activities listed on the game board. They have between starting December 7th, so now until February 28th, so that gives them plenty of time. And lastly, some of our beloved Christmas trees around the DMV are now lit up for the season. Check it out. This includes the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree, which is on the left side of your screen, and the National Christmas tree, which is on the right side of your screen, was lit. Only one of these trees was grown in our area. The U.S. Capitol tree came from Nevada, and the National Christmas tree came from a farm in Virginia.
WUSA 9 Weather Impact is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
And both of those trees got a light dusting of snow Friday morning as snow fell across the region. And we got in some fabulous photos from our weather watchers. Jeannie McVeigh sent in this photo of the Capitol Christmas tree as that light snow fell. Unfortunately, it did make for a mess of the morning commute. And check this out. This was Gaithersburg. Matt sent in this photo of about 1.5 inches of snow that fell. So we are heading into the weekend looking like a little bit of a winter wonderland. Now, both weekend days are going to be much warmer than how we closed out the week. We'll head back into the mid to low 40s for temperatures, and both days will feature some sunshine blending with clouds. So a lot of what fell will melt because all in all totals weren't that impressive, generally between 1/2 inch to 2 inches in some of those higher spots. Now, waking up on Saturday, it is going to be cold to start. Everyone is below freezing, low 30s down in southern Maryland, upper 20s around the Beltway, but low 20s in spots like Manassas and Culpeper, just 22 degrees. Saturday morning in Culpeper, mid to low 20s from Frederick down into Leesburg. Now, throughout the day on Saturday, we will see some clouds to start, but don't be discouraged. We'll break out some blue sky as we head through the late morning and early afternoon hours with temperatures that are still well below where we should be for this time in December. Still feeling better than how we closed out the week on Friday near the freezing mark, but much cooler than what we would typically expect. And as we head into next week, we do get a little blast of winter back for Monday and Tuesday with high temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, closer to average by the time we get to Wednesday and Thursday. But notice over the next 10 days, no day gets close to that average mark, which is around 52 degrees. And by the time we get to the second weekend of December, temperatures will be even colder when average high temperatures fall back into the 40s. So overall, a nice December weekend for outdoor plans, especially if you're looking to head out to the Christmas tree farm, maybe grab a tree. Both days going to be nice and milder, at least with temperatures in the mid to low 40s with a blend of partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. But as we look ahead to next week, that chill does move back in, and Monday is going to be windy as well, so it's going to feel even colder. Going to feel probably more like the mid to upper 20s for high temperatures on Monday, but then as we head toward Wednesday and Thursday, we do get slightly milder.
Caitlin, thank you. Meanwhile, the Spirit's deal to keep superstar Trinity Rodman has been rejected. Coming up, the impacts this could have on us and the team. Some disappointing news for Washington Spirit fans. That's us, right? The National Women's Soccer League rejected the Spirit's multi-million-dollar offer to keep superstar Trinity Rodman. According to the New York Times, the deal would last 4 years, averaging more than $1 million a year. Bloomberg is reporting that the NWSL commissioner says the deal violates the league rules because of its salary cap structure. Rodman is expected to enter free agency. Meanwhile, the Players Association has filed a grievance arguing the contract did not violate league rules. Coming up, it looks like another Nutcracker rehearsal, but for some, it's proof that ballet can be for everyone. How the Purple Tutu program is breaking barriers. Now to a heartwarming story out of Fairfax County. A dance program is helping ensure that everyone who wants to take the stage gets the chance to do so. Our Sean Martinelli heads to the city of Alexandria to get to the heart of it.
When this curtain opens, you'll see another rehearsal for another community production of the Nutcracker. But this is not just another scene.
I'm
ultra grateful.
Erica Kraft's daughter Elsie has Down syndrome.
And when she was born, they were like, we don't know if she's going to talk or whatever. And I'd be like, well, we'll figure that out as we go.
14 years later,
Let's just do some more leaps.
Some more leaps? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Elsie's made leaps some thought she never would.
I've been teaching for 7 years now.
7 years?
Yeah.
7 years as part of a program called the Purple Tutu.
Ballet historically has been really exclusive. It's traditionally not been open to a lot of different people, including people with disabilities.
Madison Hardin brought the program to Alexandria, Virginia back in 2016.
Dance was such an important way for me to express myself growing up. We really try hard to show that ballet can and should be for anyone who has a passion for it.
Once a week, participants like Elsie rehearse with teachers like Rachel Jurda.
It's not your typical teachers. We're high school students and we're still learning, we're still growing just as the dancers are.
They grow together.
It is just an incredible sense of fulfillment. Step, step, leap.
As these dancers prepare to take the stage, they do so as all others would.
I tell people all the time, it's a legit ballet program. Like they're using the correct terms, pas de chat, tendu, with the girls. And they are doing the same exact thing that you would in any ballet class around the world.
Plie, stretch.
Their work will culminate this month for one scene in the Alexandria Community Nutcracker.
I remember Elsie's first performance actually was in the spring. We do an end-of-year recital. After the performance, Elsie's mom ran up to me. She was just in tears and was just like, thanking me for giving Elsie this opportunity that she didn't know if Elsie would ever get to have.
Yeah, I really just am amazed.
Amazed that while the show may be fantasy, this is her daughter's reality. In Alexandria, Virginia, Sean Martinelli, WUSA 9.
And if you know someone who is an inspiration and making an impact on our community, send the information Sean's way. Here it is on your screen. You can email him at theheartofit@WUSA9.com. Well, that does it for us. That is the latest. Thanks so much for staying in the loop. We'll see you back here next weekend. Be safe, everybody.